There is no money for Poles, but there is money for illegal immigrants. The district court in Białystok awarded compensation to 2 Afghans who illegally crossed the eastern border from Belarus into Poland 4 years ago. The verdict is not legally binding. As Judge Anna Hordyńska explained, compensation is not intended to remove immaterial damage, but is an attempt to alleviate the harm suffered. When determining its amount, factors such as the length of imprisonment, the degree of discomfort caused by detention, moral suffering, feelings of helplessness, and possible reactions from those around them must be taken into account. Compensation should also not lead to disproportionate financial benefits, which is why the court also took into account social realities, including the level of wealth and the value of money. If there is such information, there should be comprehensive information from the spokesperson. For example, the press spokesperson of that court, explaining the situation that arose there, because it may turn out that I am misleading someone without knowing what the facts were there. We tried to find out the reasoning behind the verdict. However, the spokesperson for the district court in Białystok did not answer the phone. From the information contained in the court's decision on illegal detention, it appears that activists were present there immediately. Therefore, we may wonder to what extent this action on the part of the immigrants was a calculated move to obtain financial gain. Because the Afghans were supported by human rights activists, the illegal immigrants were sent to a center for foreigners. According to Rzeczpospolita, they now live in Germany and the United Kingdom. We are dealing here with a conflict between two goods, the personal good of the migrant and the common good, the good of the Republic of Poland. Please remember that according to Article 5 of the Constitution, the Republic of Poland protects its borders, so this is a constitutional obligation of the state. The case dates back to 2021. The border guard detained 3 Afghans who had illegally crossed the Polish-Belarusian border. They did not have Polish visas or any other documents entitling them to enter Poland. After completing the necessary formalities, the illegal immigrants were taken back to the border. 3 years ago, the district court in Hajnówka ruled that the detention of the Afghans was unjustified, illegal, and incorrect under the applicable law. According to the court, the appropriate procedures were not implemented immediately because their asylum applications were not accepted. The Afghans then sought compensation. Each of them sought 80,000 zloty. Ultimately, the case of one of them was separated into a separate proceeding. 2 of them were awarded 5,000 zloty in compensation. This situation sets a very dangerous precedent, a precedent that could lead to an avalanche of further lawsuits. The position of the Polish court is astonishing. The opposition is not holding back. They should be fined 50,000 euros each. That would stop them from pushing our borders. So this case is shocking, but it doesn't surprise me. Tusk always cared about everyone. It's Tusk's complex. An incomplete German, an inferior German who always cared about everyone around him, but not about Polish people. The case is shocking to the public because at a time when illegal immigrants are receiving money, compensation from the taxes of all Poles, pensioners have to count every penny. The Council of Ministers has prepared a draft regulation on the indexation of pensions and disability benefits for next year. The government website, in accordance with the proposal adopted by the Council of Ministers on June 12, 2025, proposal to increase the indexation rate for pensions and disability benefits in 2026, proposed to leave the indexation rate for pensions and disability benefits in 2026 at the statutory minimum of 20% of the real increase in average wages in 2025. The statutory minimum is the key word. According to the daily newspaper Fakt, the indexation of pensions and disability benefits calculated in this way may amount to less than 5%. For comparison, benefits were increased by over 12% last year and by nearly 6% this year. Translated into zloty, the minimum pension will increase by less than 84 zloty. Those who receive the highest pensions will get the most. On top of that, there is a growing budget deficit. There are many indications that the government has miscalculated when it comes to taxes, and this year the state budget may be short by up to 30 billion zloty. The budget deficit, although already at a record high and planned at nearly 289 billion zloty, may increase. Even though I had a very negative opinion of Donald Tusk and his politicians from his ruling team, I thought that they would be at least a little better at managing things. But everywhere we look, it's a total disaster. In every sector, in every ministry. That's not all. According to the latest Eurostat data, among European Union countries, unemployment among people under 25 is growing fastest in Poland. The situation of public finances is catastrophic. The labor market is getting tougher. It is not the case that we have such a high level of contributions to the social insurance institution that there is a surplus and anything is being implemented. Quite the contrary. The state's finances are in a disastrous state. Polish people are starting to live from paycheck to paycheck, and we still have 2 years of Donald Tusk's government ahead of us. All coalition partners are responsible for the growing poverty.
Consider is laid on the table.
When Democrats and Republicans vote together, it means that history is being made in America. And that's exactly what happened last night. The two sides, which are usually at odds with each other, were united by cryptocurrencies. The House of Representatives passed the Genius Act, incorporating virtual currency trading into U.S. law.
President Trump and this Congress are correcting course and unleashing America's digital asset potential with historic, transformative legislation. President Trump promised to make America the crypto capital of the world, and today, we delivered.
The bill regulating the cryptocurrency market will soon be on the president's desk, but there are two others still in play. One is a bill detailing the structure of the cryptocurrency market, known as the Clarity Act, and the other is a bill aimed at prohibiting the Federal Reserve from creating digital currencies, which can be understood as a safety valve. The state has dollars or precious metals such as gold, and private companies can issue cryptocurrencies under supervision.
Majority of stablecoin today are US dollar backed, and thereby having clarity from the US regulators and policymakers becomes very important. If you are going to use a stablecoin that's US dollar backed, then naturally you want to understand.
The cryptocurrency market is growing at a tremendous pace. Everyone has probably heard of Bitcoin, but new digital currencies are being created every day. Even the US president, a great supporter of hard cash and virtual assets, has his own so-called official Trump.
If crypto is going to define the future, I want to be mined, minted, and made in the USA. It's going to be. It's not going to be made anywhere else. And if Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say, it's going to the moon, I want America to be the nation that leads the way, and that's what's going to happen.
Shortly after key votes on cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin did indeed skyrocket to over $120,000, or nearly $500,000 zloty. In the United States, in terms of legislation, this week has been somewhat referred to as Crypto Week. The breakthrough is the creation of a whole spectrum of rules and the removal of risk and uncertainty surrounding the operation of this market. This really sets an example for other countries and other developed markets on how to approach the issue. The Americans are setting an example for other countries such as Poland that crypto is a business that simply needs to be well regulated. If someone wants to issue such a currency in the United States, it must have an equivalent in other assets. In other words, the currency must be secured. It cannot be an empty shell. This is very important. It is also not possible to charge interest or allow earnings on such currencies without the appropriate banking license. Despite this, the climate for cryptocurrencies in Poland is not very favorable. They came under fire from Gazeta Wyborcza, for example, when one of the companies in this industry sponsored the CPEC Conservative Conference in Rzeszów. Meanwhile, cryptocurrencies are a rapidly growing market. Cryptocurrencies are modern assets that were created about 10 years ago with the aim of protecting those who own them in the event of turmoil in the global financial system. However, over the last few years, there has been a huge increase in the importance of cryptocurrencies, which is why in the current situation, we are seeing cryptocurrencies transition from unconventional assets to traditional assets. Entities in the crypto world that would like to operate legally on the Polish market do not even have anywhere to apply for a license because the law is struggling to come into being, despite the growing interest in online currencies among Polish people. The latest research indicates that the crypto asset market in Poland has already surpassed the stock market. 1 in 5 Poles owns crypto, and 1 in 5 Poles invests and plays with crypto, so to say. However, we still do not have a domestic law that introduces into the legal system in Poland the adopted binding regulation, the European regulation, which in other countries allows entities such as the one I represent to apply for a license and, in fact, develop their business. The result is that instead of paying taxes and developing in Poland, crypto companies are looking for a place for themselves in other countries. People who are open to crypto primarily want access to fast transactions, 24-hour market access, and they want an entity that is regulated and supervised. Above all, such people should educate themselves and educate themselves again before they touch the crypto market and before they invest their first dollar in the crypto market. It is worth having both knowledge and a choice. The maximum security prison Alcatraz was closed in 1963 after 29 years of operation because it was too expensive to maintain. A White House press secretary announced today that if it reopens, it could house the most dangerous criminals, both U.S. citizens and immigrants, awaiting deportation from the United States.
This was an idea of the president. He spoke about it in May, and he directed his administration to review a reopening plan for Alcatraz if it is possible, which is why the Attorney General and the Secretary of Interior have traveled there today. They are touring the site, and if the Alcatraz prison is reopened, it would be under the purview of the Bureau of Prisons, and the Secretary of Interior also would play a big role in this as well. So they're there to review the site today, and I'm sure you'll hear more from them on it later. And just to follow up, Libby, on who the president wants to see housed in Alcatraz, the worst of the worst criminals in this country, both American criminals who convict heinous crimes, but also illegal alien criminals before deportation as well.
This decision is part of a broader strategy by the Trump administration. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi visited the facility accompanied by Secretary of the Interior Doug Burgum.
It could hold middle-class violent prisoners. It could hold illegal aliens. It could hold anything. This is a terrific facility, needs a lot of work, but no one has been known to escape from Alcatraz and survive.
The idea of restoring Alcatraz to its former function as a prison has been met with harsh criticism from Democrats who believe it is too costly.
This is the stupidest initiative they have put forth. Here we are at a time when they're taking food out of the mouths of babies to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. They're taking millions of Americans off health care because they said they need the money for their big tax scam to give, add nearly $4 trillion to the national debt. Now they want to spend money on converting Alcatraz back to a prison, which will cost billions of dollars.
The Interior Secretary refutes the Democrats' arguments.
Returning it to that purpose is relatively straightforward compared to a lot of other transactions with federal land. But this is one of the reasons why it's ideal, is because this was its original purpose.
Located on an island in San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz was one of the most difficult prisons to escape from. During its 29 years of operation, there were 14 escape attempts, most of which ended in failure, with prisoners being caught or killed. One such escape was immortalized in the 1979 film Escape from Alcatraz, directed by Don Siegel and starring Clint Eastwood. Alcatraz, known from films and books, was home to criminals such as Al Capone.
Yeah, what's your name? Al Capone. I thought you was dead.